Hello everyone, I'm Jung-Chul. Now let's begin part 4, DNS security with these four chapters. Chapter 13, the TSIG and the DNS security. And chapter 14, RNDC service. 15, some DNS security issues. And 16, the DNS cache poisioning. Chapter 13, the TSIG and DNS security. TSIG mean the transaction, the signatures. It means normally the TSIG means the authenticate the DNS messages by signing them with a shared symmetric key. So with this symmetric key, first the TSIG must create the transaction key with this DNS security. And this one, secure access control mechanism and guarantees message not altered in transit because the authenticate using key. And this one, if you want to use a TSIG first, require the clocks to be synchronized between the communicating machines. For example, like using NTP servers. And number two, the installing TSIG keys. Normally, we use the DNS security key generate to create this transaction, the signature keys. So here we will use the key directive to install and the name key, and both machine, for example, like master and slave name servers. Only named on the two servers should know this key. So named daemon will load this key. And the configure key in a file with the secure permission and use include. If you want to use this key, we can use this keyword include. Number three, how to use the TSIG first. We need to create the symmetric keys. So using this command, DNS security key generate algorithm and the key, the block size and the host. In my case, I will use this key name. This one is the key name. In my case, the chol.com. Then, even if you create these keys in any directory, it's okay. In my case, I will create this directory. It is named. So if you are successful to create these keys, you can see these two keys, key and private. So here, the number, this one is a key and the key name, and this number 157 mean the number of this algorithm, and the 56,130 mean we question direction IDs. Okay, sorry, this one. Okay. So if now we are successful to create these keys, we need to add this key to this one. It is named conf on master and slave. For example, in the master, name.conf, so the key name chol.com and algorithm and the secret. If you open or if you read this file, you can see this kind of the secret. So you need to add here slave as well, same key, algorithm, secret, and here we have to add like this, server 192.168.5 keys chol.com like this. So this key name and this one must be same. So using this one, we can communicate between master and slave. C, permit allow transfer. In the previous video, I already explained the meaning of allow the transfer between master and slave. So between master and slave to transfer some zones, we can use TSIG key. First, here in the master, we can configure like this: allow transfer key chol.com. Chol.com is the name of the key. So then only the data for this zone will be transferred to the slave with this key. For example, now in my case, a slave has this one, chol.com, and here. So this slave will be transferred this data about this zone from master using this key. If this key is different, then the slave will fail to receive this data from master. D, dynamic DNS update using TSIG. So if we want to support dynamic the DNS update, then we can use this kind of the transaction signature as well. So here, allow update key char.com like this. So only this key can permit the dynamic DNS update to the other servers, for example, like slaves. Chapter 14, the RNDC service. RNDC service is a name server control utility that comes along with the bind package. If you install bind package, normally you can use the RNDC. So here R means the remote. So normally we can use this service to control the name server from remote. And RNDs normally use the digital signature to communicate with the name server. So if we want to use RNDC service on slave, in this case, we need digital signatures. B, used to reload configuration file, joins, plus DNS cache, and so on. Okay. Number 2, RNDC configuration. First, a master name server. First, create the RNDC key using this command RNDC conf generate. So here, generate. If you are successful to create the key using this command, automatically the block size, key name, so in my case the default will be the RNDC key. And after that, we need to create this file etc rndc.conf. So here the name, algorithm, and the secret keyword like this. And here default key and default server and port number. Normally RNDC will use port number 953. And of that, it is named the key name, algorithm, the secret, this one is the same. And of that, controls, inet 127.0.0.allow localhost keys RNDC key. It means localhost can control this IP address with this key. If localhost doesn't have this key, then it is impossible to control this one from the local host. And if that service named restart, then you can use now RNDC, stated like this. Number 3, RNDC configuration on master and the slave. So now let's try to configure RNDC, the service on master and slave. So in my case, first, in the slave name server, we need to create the key before the master and slave. So in the previous page, I used the RNDC conf generate, this one, RNDC conf generate, but here I will use this one, DNS security key generate. This one is the same, the algorithm and the block size, key block size, and the host, and key name will be, in my case, the remote key. So first here, in the client part and in the slave part, create this file as well. It is RNDC conf. So the key defined here, and the server, in my case, 192.168.5 is the master name server and key name like this. In the master name server, also we need to configure like this key, because this is a symmetric key. Symmetric key means the key must be same between master and slave. So this key and this key must be same. And of that, controls here, inet 192.168.5. This is the master. 192.168, this is a slave key remote. It means slave name server can control the master name server with this key. So this key must be same between master and slave. And if that, you can use RNDC reload. How to use RNDC? Basic, for example, here it means the slave, RNDC S means the server. So in my case, 8.5 is a master, reload, and after that we can define exact join status, or refresh, or hold. Well, if we want to the permit query, then log on like this. Usage for dynamic DNS. In the previous video, I already introduced the meaning of the dynamic DNS update. So in this case, if in my case now I'm using this one, char.com zone. This is the dynamic zone. So in this case, if we want to update this zone first, freeze and zone name, and after that reload char.com. So if we use the freeze, it means the suspend update to all dynamic zones, and after that reload this zone, and after that so it means enable and reload update to all dynamic zones. But here usage for dynamic DNS I explained like this, but in this case if you are using the split the DNS view, in this case here we need to add this kind of command as well in internal like this, because now the johnchar.com is supplied all data to master using view. So in this case, you need to add the view name. In my case now, there are two view, internal and external. In this case, we had two here in internal like this. And updating zone keys, if you want to update the zone key. So here in the previous video I already explained about this one, update zones. So in this case, if you want to permit update zone keys, then you had to add auto DNS security allow or maintain. And then RNDC as this master sign char.com in internal, then this key will be we can update this key as well. If you want to turn on the validation, then validation on like this. Okay, then now let's try to use this one. Now I already log into the server part. So here let's try to use first the TSIG. So first etc named. So in my case I already create here like this. So if you want key generate and the algorithm, in my case it's MAC MD5 and the block size 128 and the host, and in my case I already the char.com, so here I will try to use jong.com. Okay, now let's check. So here kjong.com, so this I already told you 157 means this number means the algorithm, this one, and this one is a message ID number, this one. Okay, so now let's read here key, so we can find this kind of key like this. So now if we are successful to create this key, then we need to also, okay, here also cat kchar key, and after that private key as well. Okay, so private key has this kind of informations. Okay, then let's read named.conf. Okay, okay, first, in the previous video, I created this key for dynamic update. Now, I already create the char.com, so algorithm and the secret key like this. So if we are successful in this one is a master, and after that let's go to the slave here. Okay, here let's check. Okay, line number 29, the key char.com algorithm and the key. So this key the secret key must be same to master servers. And after that, the server 192.168.85 and key name char.com like this. And one more thing, here in the master part, now let's using this key, let's check the John transfer. So in my case, the view internal view. So here the name, the John name, the char.com, and allow transfer. Now I'm using key here char.com like this. So in this case, maybe the slave will be the transfer this data for this John char.com. So now if this one has this key, then the slave will be successful to receive this John data from master. So now let's test this one. So now the server, okay, let's go to, okay, here, let's update char. Okay, then named.com. So I'm using here, I will update this one, char John internal using this key. Okay, then that's char John internal. Okay, here I will change the serial number. So now July 17 number 1 like this, and here I will add one more host like test internet address 92.168.80.10 like this 10. Okay, now in the client already had this key, so no problem to receive the here, okay, masters 80.5 and the slave, and this information will be the slaves. So now let's go. It is var name slave. So now I receive already this information from master, but this one is the old one, like this, because today is July the 17th, so different. So now if I'm successful to receive this data from the master, then this data will be updated. Okay, so in the master service named restart. And here let's check the log file. So now this one here, the client 86 view internal transfer char.com and TSIG. Now this one using the TSIG transaction, the signature here for this John. So now let's go to the client. So here also service named restart. And let's check the log file. So now, okay, let's check the, okay, here. Now let's read this file, char John. So now the serial number change. The July the 17th, the serial number 1, and here I add this host test 192.168.10. So now the client, the slave is successful to receive this update data from master server with the TSIG keys. Okay, one more thing. In the master, named.conf. Okay, if we want to use the update, now is this one. I'm using the dynamic DNS update. But if we want to use for the update information, for example, like this, allow update key char.com. In this case, maybe we can use the update to use this key. But now I will use this dynamic update. So in this case, allow update and the update policy cannot be used at the same time. So now in this case, I will only the block. Okay, like this. Okay, this is a kind of the example to use the TSIG and the DNS security. Now let's try to use RNDC. So first, RNDC, now let's check the, normally, okay, now let's try to use, okay, etc named here. First, let's try to use the RNDC key. So here, the block size may be 128, and I'm sorry, the key name, okay, here, key, test key, like this. Okay, so in this case, now the road key, the RNDC key. So in this case, etc RNDC key, so we have this kind of the secret key. But etc named, no, RNDC that, okay, then again, let's try to now test the key, RNDC. Okay, now I create the RNDC key, and after that, etc named.conf. So here, let's check the RNDC key. So now here, controls inet 127. This is a local host. So this local host will control this one, use this key, RNDC key. So, and here, okay, this one. So can you see here, 9 number 107 include etc RNDC key. So using this key, okay, now after the create this one, either start the names of a restart and RNDC status. So here, for example, number of zones. So I have this kind of the 6 zones like this. So now the RNDC is working. For example, reload like this. So server successful. But in my case, I will use master and slave to use the RNDC service. So first, let's in the client part here, okay, and the etc named. So here, I create these keys, the remote, okay, remote the key, so like this. Using, for example, the same DNS key generate algorithm, in my case, HMAC MD5, and the block size 128, and the host, in my case, for example, like jong.com, or here let's remote slave key, for example, key like this. Okay, now I can find here the slave key, this one, and the private key like this. And after that, RNDC conf here. So in my case, I already create like this. So here, the server 192.168.85 and the key limit key and the key limit key like this. So this one cat limit key. So this one and this one must be same. And after that, so now in the slave part, I create this limit key. And here server, I already defined the server using this key and the secret key as well. And in the server part, so let's check the, okay, here, limit key, algorithm, and this one. This one is the same to the slave. And after that, line number the 56 here controls 192.168.85 is a server part. 192.168 is this one is this one is a master and this one is a slave. When the slave will control this master, normally this slave and master will use this key, limit key. So now the slave can connect or control this master. Okay. Now in this one is a slave. This one is a client and the slave. Now also this one also has the RNDC. This one is now RNDC service controlling the local part, but we want to connect the master. So RNDC, in this case, we have to define exact IP address, 80 in my case 5, and RNDC. Okay, reload. Okay, so now server reload successful like this, or we can define exact the local host, but now in my case server part I don't have the local host John. So in this case, now let's try to John, in my case char.com, but in this case I have to define exact the view name, in my case internal. So now okay, later I explain about this one. So let's okay, then let's try to this one first. In this case, freeze first char.com in internal. Okay, and after that, reload char.com. Okay, so John reload up to date, because this char.com is a dynamic the update zone. So normally if we want to reload the dynamic zone first, we have to use this one freeze, and after that here, so now John reload and so was successful. Or now RNDC as the server 85, and after that query. Okay, first let's check here. Now query logging is off. In this case, now query log on, and after that let's check status. Now query logging is on. Okay, now let's check the updating the John keys. So now in the server part, I already explained about this one. So now here, auto DNS security the maintain. Then this John will permit the update John keys. So in my case, I'm using this one. char.com here, okay, this one. Okay, now let's go to the client is a slave. So here, RNDC server 85. And sign, let's try the for John, this one in internal. The internal means the view name. So now sign is okay. And validation on as well. So now using RNDC, I can control the master name server. And except this one, RNDC has many kinds of the option or command. For example, if I want to see the transaction signature, the key list. So for example, here, TSIG list. So now in the internal and external and the bind using char.com DNS, local DNS, limit key, RNDC key like this, you can see all the keys, transaction signature keys between master and the slave like this. Okay, so far I explained the RNDC service and the TSIG with DNS security. Okay, chapter 15, some bind securities is first one, bind version information. Normally, bind leak version information through built-in the text resource record. So, it's the best way to block is to use the custom view, the suppressed or the CH record. For example, here, using the host, see the chaos, the text, the version bind, it makes mine the name server. Then, this one will show the version information. If you want to use the dig, then the name server and the text chaos version. Then this one will show the version, the exact version number. So in this case, if we want to block to leak this version information, then we have to add this keyword version in the option part. So here you can write down any the text or sentence like this. And number two, the restricting queries in the particular zone. So for example, here I have this zone, then only the ACL network can query. So for each zone, you can define exact the queries using ACL like this. Number three, use ID pool. Normally, this option introduced in bind 8.2. It means tells our name server to take a special care to use random message ID. So I already told, maybe the next chapter, you will listen to about the DNS cache poisoning. Normally to make this attack successful, normally use this message ID. So if you want to protect your DNS server from this kind of the attack, then we have to use the random message ID in queries. So if we want to support, then use ID pool yes, like this. And the number four, query number restriction. So normally the number of the recursive query, normally the default is 1000 at the same time. And the number of TCP query, normally 100. So according to the situation of your name server, you can increase or decrease. So recursive client, the 3000, or TCP client 2000 like this. And the number five, useful the website for DNS. So if you want to get more information or data about DNS, then please visit this kind of website. Then you will find so many kinds the DNS information. Chapter 16, the DNS Cache Poisioning. This cache poisioning looks very simple to understand. For example, this one, I'm using this DNS server, and this is the computer as a user. And normally, I get the DNS information from this name server about this one. For example, like nicebank.com. But attacker, the poison the DNS cache to this DNS server for this website. here, then this DNS server will supply incorrect information about this domain, nicebank.com. So now, if I want to access this one, try to query this information to my DNS server already poisoned by attacker. Then now the DNS information will point this one, nicebank, this one, but this one fake website. So this is a DNS cache poisoning. So here, DNS cache poisoning and DNS spoofing is the same. It's computer hacking attack, whereby data is introduced into the DNS name servers, especially the cache database, causing the name server to return incorrect IP address. The domain is the same, but IP address is wrong, and the diverting traffic to attackers' computers. So here, so attacker will get the information exact, the ID or password, serial number about this bank. So when the attacker try to poison this DNS cache, normally the attacker use here the DNS UDP port. Normally we are using 53 and the message ID. I already about explain about this one, message ID. So we need the random this kind of message ID. So using this message ID and the UDP source port, normally attacker try to poison this DNS server's cache. So if we want to protect your DNS server from this kind of cache poisoning solutions, use up-to-date bind versions and try to use DNS security, for example, like authentication and randomize UDP source port. Normally we are using the 53, but if you change your UDP source port, then you can protect this kind of attack as well. Okay, then let's test one. Okay, first in the server part, here is a server. First, let's etc now etc named.com. Let's check the version number, version information. So now now I already plug here version who are you, but if I don't use this one, let's check the version information. For example, okay, let's try to use host first, host AOS and tst text version bind. In my case, char.com. So now I can find this kind of version information. dig as well. Let's try to use the dig. And in my case, ns.char.com. Okay, version bind. So here I can find this kind of version information. But if I version keyword, so here in my case the line number 22, so okay, and of that the service named restart. Okay, then let's again. So now here only who are you, like this, or host as well. So here only who are you, like this. So try to use this the version, the bind information to change. Okay, and named conf. So in the option part, okay, here, okay, use ID pool, yes, like this. And okay, recursive, okay, try to. Here, let's check first, RNDC. Now the TCP client here, 100, and recursive 1000. So here, let's try to change here. Okay, recursive, recursive, the 3000. And TCP clients, in my case 2000, like this. Okay, and after that, okay, then here again, RNDC status. Now it's a change like this, 3000 and 2000 like this. Okay. So far, I explained the DNS security in the chapter 14 and chapter 13, the TSIG and DNS security and RNDC, 15 some DNS security issues and DNS cache poisioning. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the last video.